For weeks now, the internet hasn't been talking out loud, it's been whispering. Quiet clips, subtle comments, blink-and-you-miss-it moments, all orbiting one question fans can't seem to shake. What is really going on between Scott Disick and Khloé Kardashian? From flirty banter in interviews to eyebrow-raising Instagram interactions, viewers started noticing a familiar rhythm resurface. Scott's playful teasing, Khloé's effortless laughter, the inside jokes only they seemed to share, late-night hangouts that felt just a little too comfortable. Some fans brushed it off as harmless, classic sibling-style chaos. Others weren't so convinced. Because when you've watched this family long enough, you learn to read between the lines. And what many thought they saw was something lingering, something unspoken. And through it all, one person said absolutely nothing. Kourtney Kardashian. Silence has always been her sharpest move. While others rush to clap back, she pauses. While the family thrives on cameras and confessionals, Kourtney finds power in stillness. And as rumors surrounding Scott and Khloé hit a boiling point, headlines twisting, fans choosing sides, speculation spiraling, her quiet began to feel intentional, almost strategic. People waited for a post, a quote, a reaction they could screenshot, debate, and drag across social media. What they didn't understand is this: when Kourtney speaks, it's never impulsive. By the time she opens her mouth, she's already made peace with every word. As one insider put it perfectly, silence isn't always peace, sometimes it's preparation. And then this week, during an understated, intimate moment filmed for the family's reality series, Kourtney finally addressed what everyone had been whispering about. No fireworks, no jealousy, no bitterness, just calm, the kind that disarms you. Leaning back, offering a small, knowing smile, she said, "I think people forget that we've all grown up together. Scott and Khloé have their dynamic, their humor, their friendship. It's never bothered me. It's just interesting what people choose to focus on." It wasn't defensive. It wasn't distant. It was a boundary wrapped in grace. Because beneath that composed delivery stood a woman who has survived public heartbreak enough times to know that reacting only feeds chaos. For Kourtney, silence has become strength. The clip spread fast, TikTok loops, Twitter debates, frame-by-frame analysis. Every pause, every facial shift dissected. Some called her response elegant, others labeled it icy. But almost everyone agreed on one thing: this was classic Kourtney. No dramatics. No cryptic captions. Just a quiet reminder that she's no longer operating on the same emotional wavelength as everyone else. She doesn't need to shout, one fan wrote. Her calm says everything. And that's exactly why her words hit harder than any rant ever could. Because when Kourtney Kardashian breaks her silence, it's not noise, it's closure. To understand why that silence became such a headline, you have to rewind. Way back. Before Travis Barker. Before marriages, bobbies, and emotional distance. Back when Scott wasn't just her partner, he was fully embedded in the Kardashian ecosystem. In that world, Khloé wasn't just a sister figure. She was Scott's closest ally. From the earliest days of keeping up with the Kardashians, their chemistry was undeniable. They were the show's chaos duo, roasting each other nonstop, turning everyday moments into viral TV gold. "You're literally the brother I never wanted," Khloé joked. "And you're the sister I can't escape," Scott fired back. Funny, unpredictable, but also deeper than it looked. Khloé saw Scott at his lowest: addiction, grief, emotional collapse. And when others pulled away, she stayed. She checked him when he spiraled, defended him when the family questioned him. Over time, that bond blurred lines, not romantically, but emotionally. Loyalty ran unusually deep. Fans noticed. Private dinners, shared trips, inside jokes splashed across social media. And in a family where everything becomes content, closeness always invites speculation. As the years passed and Kourtney built a new life with Travis, attention drifted back to Scott and Khloé. Every appearance reignited the same question: is this friendship crossing a line? Insiders insisted it was innocent. The family brushed it off. But the internet refused to let it rest. Because in the Kardashian universe, history never really disappears. Throughout all of it, Kourtney stayed quiet. Not because she didn't see it, but because she didn't feel the need to perform a reaction. That Scorpio energy doesn't waste emotion on spectators. Her silence wasn't indifference. It was awareness. She knows how fast chaos multiplies once you start explaining yourself publicly. And she's learned that peace doesn't come from clarification. It comes from detachment. This was never about romance. It was about loyalty. History. Blurred boundaries in a family, where roles constantly overlap and perception often outweighs truth. That's what made her silence so loud. While tabloids chased headlines and fans decoded emojis like clues, Kourtney remained still. No shade, no commentary, just control. For someone who's lived under a microscope for decades, that quiet wasn't avoidance, it was authority. Kourtney has always moved differently. She doesn't perform vulnerability. She doesn't rush to explain herself. She speaks when it matters, and when she does, it's deliberate. She once said, "Not everything deserves a response. Sometimes peace is choosing silence." This time, that silence wasn't distance. It was growth. After everything she endured with Scott, the public heartbreak, the emotional roller coaster, she's simply not that woman anymore. She doesn't chase closure. She creates it. Insiders say she was fully aware of the chatter. She saw the clips, read the comments, but instead of reacting, she waited, processing privately, choosing her moment. When Kourtney finally says something, one source shared, it's because she's already worked through it. She doesn't talk from anger anymore, she talks from clarity. To outsiders, her silence looked cold. To those close to her, it meant peace. She wasn't dodging drama, she was refusing to feed it. And she knows rumors starve when ignored. When she finally spoke, it wasn't spontaneous. It was intentional calm, the kind that says, "I've been here before and I'm not repeating the cycle." Her words were few, but heavy. Because when Kourtney speaks after silence, it's not for drama, it's to end the conversation. Naturally, the internet split. Praise, criticism, TikTok edits comparing past episodes to now. Captions reading, "She's done explaining herself," and you can hear the pain in her calm. Even casual viewers called it one of the most composed power moves the family's ever seen. She didn't deny anything. She didn't accuse anyone. She simply made it clear she's not playing that game anymore. Behind the scenes, reactions were mixed. Khloé reportedly found the comment expected but unnecessary. Scott stayed quiet, maybe embarrassed. But no one could deny the precision. Kourtney didn't spark drama. She shut it down before it ignited. That's the difference. Everyone else reacts. She decides. At its core, the public reaction said more about us than her. We crave chaos. We expect explosions. And when someone chooses peace, we question it. But that's the twist. Her silence made her louder than ever. When Kourtney addressed the situation, it didn't sound like gossip. It sounded like release. She wasn't speaking as Scott's ex or Khloé's sister. She was speaking as a woman who stepped out of a triangle that once defined her. "I've made peace with the past," she later added. "I'm focused on my life now, my marriage, my kids, my energy." Not shade. Liberation. Fans dissected every word. Was acceptance strategic? A quiet boundary? Body language experts called it emotional detachment, the strongest form of closure. And that's what made it unforgettable. She wasn't trying to convince anyone. She was reminding herself she'd already let go. This wasn't defense. It was declaration. Her story with Scott ended exactly where it needed to. Loyalty doesn't mean reopening wounds. And true to Kourtney's nature, she didn't escalate drama, she dropped perspective. Behind the scenes, the energy shifted. Scott quieter, Khloé more careful. Even production reportedly pulled back. Because everyone felt it, something had changed. Kourtney's silence wasn't just peace. It was power. She didn't yell, she didn't explain. She let calm do the talking. Because real strength doesn't come from reaction, it comes from restraint. Sometimes, peace is the plot twist. So what do you think? Was Kourtney's calm true growth? Or does her silence still carry something unsaid? Drop your thoughts below. Like, subscribe, and share, because your voice keeps the conversation alive.